compliment me. His gray-whiskered face crinkled in a smile. I smiled back. The credit's yours for bringing the quail. Meat and fowl were hardest to come by. I went to fetch the roasted root vegetables and fresh-baked bread, Nestor close behind me. Honestly, I don't need your help, I said, cutting him off as he reached for the steaming vegetables. It's almost half an hour past noon. I'm just trying to help. Has anyone complained? I gave up on the vegetables and grabbed the bread instead. Of course not. They're grateful. And impatient. Hungry, Nestor said. They're hungry, that's all. Well, I'm feeding them. I hooked the butter crock with one finger and slid it onto the top loaf of bread, steadying it with my chin. Mara. Nestor slid in front of me, blocking the door. It doesn't have to be this lavish every day. Bread and cheese fills bellies just as well. My insides tightened, ready to snap. Mother never would have served that. You're not Mother. Thanks for the reminder. I nudged him out of my way and waited for him to open the door so I wouldn't drop something. He sighed. Maybe start a little earlier then? When I start telling you what to do in the vineyards, you can tell me what to do in the kitchen. You do tell me what to do in the vineyards. But I ignored him and presented the bread at the table as though it were grand prize. Papa appeared around the corner of the house just then. I caught his eye, but his smile lacked its usual brightness. Not that it had been all that bright since Mother died. Join us, Doric, several of the workers called. But Papa raised his hand and kept walking. In a minute. I'm looking for these two. He motioned for Nestor and me to follow him to the front of the house. I checked to see that I had remembered to lay out knives for spreading the butter, then followed Nestor and Papa. The glorious rows of grapes spread before us on either side of the pathway leading to the main road, their canopies rustling faintly in the breeze. Always my heart sang when I beheld the beauty of our vineyards. I wondered if Papa merely wanted us to drink in their bounty, the way I often caught him doing as the sun set. But no, he drew us to his sides, his arm encircling my shoulders. What do you make of that? He asked, dipping his head toward the north. I followed his gaze along the length of the road. Two riders on white horses made their way toward our gate, decked in the azure blue of the House of Nelgareth. My stomach dropped. Ogden Nelgareth ruled the lordland of Delth as though he were king. He kept our roads in good condition, and an army known for its fierce loyalty, but stories of his dark temper had graced the ears of many a fireside listener. He wasn't too pleased with the crown's control of our vineyards, either. Generations ago, the king of Perin Faye had subsidized Graylaern vineyards after the Great Blight had decimated over half the vines. The subsidy saved the vineyard, and satisfied the thirst of the nobility for Graylaern reds and whites. But then the first Thungrave king seized the throne, and soon after, he limited wine production to ensure a high price, except for 15% of the yield from every acre, wine for his own cellars. The law of first fruits, it was called, and it was applied to anything produced in the fields: linen, barley, oats. By law, Lord Nelgareth was allowed to require his own 10%, bringing our yearly offering to 25%. A famous vintner who provided drinks for the tables of a king ought to have been well off. We were left each year with barely enough to live on. Do you think they're coming here? I asked. Perhaps. Nestor made a bitter sound in the back of his throat. What business would they have with us right now? Fermentation has another 2 months at least for the Clarion Red, and harvest is a few weeks out as well. We'll know shortly, Papa said. If they turn in at the gate, I'll go meet them. I'll come with you. Nestor was Papa's only son, my half-brother, and stood to inherit the vineyards someday. At 19, he was already more than capable of handling the daily demands of grape growing and winemaking, though I often felt like I could do it better. He didn't love the vines the way I did, the way Papa did. His eyes didn't shine when he saw the first hard green grapes, tiny and new, emerge from beneath the blooms each spring. He only stood at sunset to gaze across the rows of vines because Papa was doing the same, and he valued his place by Papa's side perhaps better than anything.